Hello, everybody, and welcome to the On the Pitch podcast with your host, Bridger Pretz. I've got a friend of mine and a Manchester United fan here, my friend Luke Bergrud. How you doing,
Yo,
man?
good brother. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I
Sweet.
knew that I had to get you on as soon as we saw the result this weekend, and I kind of wanted to talk to you a little bit about your favorite team. But before we do that, why don't you let the people at home know who you are? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, man. So growing up in a soccer family, my dad, he commentates the Kansas City Comets, which is our local indoor soccer team. So just growing up around it, I played 4 years of high school soccer at Park Hill South, and then had the great opportunity playing 2 years at Park University. So just been playing and living soccer as long as I can remember. Picked up coaching in 2021 after I graduated from Park Hill South, and been getting my license and working on the club scene, been coaching at Park Hill South and trying to help boost up my high school that I love so much. So just trying to get everything going within soccer to help out people.
Heck yeah, man. We actually just
Yeah.
met this fall because now I'm
Yeah.
there at Park Hill South. And dude, it was honestly like I think the first day I just asked you
Oh, for
if you
sure.
still played indoor, and then since then we've just been buddies ever since.
Buddies.
So,
Hmm.
um, but you are a Manchester United fan,
Yes.
and that's why I brought you on today, is because I wanted to answer the question: are Manchester United back? It's been 2 games,
Yeah.
but are Manchester United back?
I'd love to just tell you flat out, oh yeah, we're back. This is the best team we've had in 13 years. And you can see the text messages we've had between each other. Some of the results, best we've had in a long time. There's an identity, which is huge for me, right? Their passion for the badge. I'm really cautious when I say, yeah, they're back because it's a very, very long season that's left. I've seen a
Hmm.
lot of good points though, just the passion between not only the manager, the character Michael Carrick, but with his players. You could see there's just a camaraderie that wasn't there with Ruben Amram every single time. Even my two biggest points that I've seen that made me really happy off the field was after we put in the second goal against Man City and Casemiro was off, or that would have been the third that was called offside with missing out. Casemiro was jumping on Michael Carrick's back and celebrating with him on the sidelines. Two guys that just playing with each other by such a short time, but you never see something like that happen with Ruben. There's just a camaraderie
Hmm.
that wasn't there before of people just wanting to play quality soccer.
Yeah.
I heard a good point from Tim Howard at the end of the game against Arsenal is there's freedom. It hasn't been something that has been able to be tapped into for a year plus. All about
Hmm.
tactics as a coach, but Ruben took it to an extreme where if you didn't fit into his system, you didn't play. And there was no freedom in soccer at that point. It was just too rigid. So
Hmm.
it's a collective deep sigh for not only the fans, but for the players to just be able to make, not based on the system, but for their own benefit as just a flowing team.
Yeah. So besides just the freedom aspect of it, do you think
Yeah.
this? See, this is why I feel like a lot of people are like really stressed and worried about. And I'm not a Manchester United fan, so whether they're good or bad, it does not hurt me at all.
Yeah.
It doesn't help me, whatever. I feel like every time somebody gets a new manager, there's always a quick burst of like,
First. Yeah.
oh, we're talent, we can do this. We start winning games, and it's all fun and dandy. And then all of a sudden, like within 3 or 4 games, it's like it goes bad again,
Yeah.
right? Obviously, it's too early to tell, right? 2 games. Well, they had an interim manager, Fletcher, there for a little bit, and then now it's Michael Carrick, and it seemed like it's been a complete 180
Oh,
from
100%.
even from Fletcher to
Mhm.
Michael Carrick. Do you think that? Do you think a lot of that has more of the fact that Michael Carrick has experience actually coaching at the pro level, and Fletcher, I don't even know really if he ever did.
So he was the RE1 manager within our academy system. So not at
Okay,
the top professional level now.
gotcha.
From Carrick, yeah, I think a lot of it goes back to his experience. I think a
Hmm.
lot helps even with Darren playing for the team. Carrick was such a mainstay in the United lineup for a decade plus that
Yeah.
I think there was just a boost, especially you could talk about the lull between the City versus Arsenal game. We didn't control the ball in either game, but with City, we sat back very deep. We were very committed, and then we're breaking off on counters. We bought into the idea of what we tried to do, and it was successful. That
Hmm.
also has so much more weight to it because you're playing your in-town rival, right? You
Yeah.
could be the worst team in the Prem, but you're playing City. You want to make sure Manchester's right at the end of the day, right? So I
Yeah.
was a little worried and nervous going into the Arsenal game. Lowell would transfer over just because hey, it's Arsenal, it's a big game, but it's not City. And
Yeah.
there was pockets of space, especially off counters and off set pieces. As they're probably the most dangerous team outside of us when it comes to putting away quality set pieces. We weren't as I'd say we were a lot more rigid, especially in the first half, just very hesitant and tense. So to answer your question, I'll be interested to see going into next Fulham. There's a
Yeah.
big drop off in level. There's a big drop off in quality. Fulham's a quality team, but if you look at a result from the start of the year, there will be a lot of growth in that game where nothing matters. There's no rivalry. There's no intense passion. All you have to do is try and win 3 points in a tactical game that does not embark in any emotion. So I think this will be a very big test this weekend.
Yeah, and like I'm just looking at their schedule now. The next, if I mean, just being hindsight here, looking at their next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games,
It's favorable.
they all should be wins.
Agreed. Agreed. It's
I
very
mean,
favorable.
the only game in there, you have Fulham, then you have Tottenham, West
Tottenham could
Ham.
always, yeah. Yeah.
Tottenham could be whatever. I have no idea what
You
they
never know.
are
You
this
never know.
year.
Yeah.
West Ham, Everton, Crystal Palace. I think that's a sneaky game.
Very. And I'm about to say they
Newcastle,
have been struggling. Yep. Very sneaky though.
Newcastle, another sneaky game.
Mhm.
Aston Villa, another one, and then Bournemouth. And then after that, I think they have Leeds. Yeah, and then Leeds. So honestly, between their next 8 to 9 games, they could easily go from. I'm not saying they're going to be title contenders. Obviously, they're down by 12 points, but I mean they're only 8 from third.
Agreed.
So how realistic do you think, with still, I think there's 15, 16 games left in the
Yeah.
year, how realistic are you when it comes to where they finish off of this year? Where do you think that they could realistically finish?
So realistically, coming off of terrible year that was last year of finishing in the bottom half, I love European football, wherever that leads us. If that's Conference League, that's Europe or Champions League, I'm very, very content with that.
Mm-hmm.
If we're able to come in with the level of intensity and passion that we have the past 2 games, I feel very comfortable fighting for a Europa or Champions League spot. I think we finished top 5. I think
Yeah.
realistically, if it, my biggest thing, like I said, it's going to be taking the motion out of it and playing quality soccer. Fulham's a good squad, right? Harry Wilson's having the best year of his career. Going into that game with no passion behind it, just playing your brain to fall. How are you going to come out? So I'd like to see these next 2 or 3 games and have a little better scope of where I feel. But I feel very comfortable about European football.
Okay. So you would say fifth, it would be a successful season.
Agreed. I'd love top 4. I would say beggars can't be choosers. I take top 5. It's building blocks in the right direction.
Yeah, especially with the year that they had last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think being out of all the cups helps with that as well?
I mean, it gives you a great focus into the one thing they're trying to accomplish. I mean, when you think about a City or an Arsenal or even a Liverpool at this point too, going so deep in so many competitions, you have to stretch out your team, right? You bring in a lot of young, unexperienced depth, and then you hope for no injuries, right? So I'd like to say from a positive standpoint, yeah, it has one thing to focus on, but you'd be wanting to play for a cup. I mean, you can talk about the Grimsby game early in the season, or even with Brighton, it was a very, very poor performance. So being out of both competitions, and I think there's a span in April that I think it starts in April through May where we play 2 or 3 games within 3 or 4 weeks. It's a very stretched out schedule where we just don't have that many games. So I think as an interim, that gives Carrick a lot of time in training to set forth what he's trying to accomplish. So you want to think of it as like a glass half full type situation. Yeah, I feel like they're focused on their one goal of finishing top 4.
Yeah. And I guess, it sucks whenever you don't win a trophy at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Obviously, Manchester United are a team that they want to win trophies every year. It's been a struggle, but even the past managers who they've fired have been able to win trophies. I mean, Ten Hag won an FA Cup. I mean, it's just Mourinho won the Europa League with them. I mean, the thing is, they would probably dream to be in a Europa League final this year. Yet they fired a guy, just a year after doing that. With that also, it's who who do you think? I mean, do you think Michael Carrick is a serious contender to actually get the job permanently, or do you think he's just going to be someone who's going to patch up things with a band-aid and see it out to the end of the year, and then they find somebody else who they're going to spend all this money on?
Mhm.
Do you think he's actually a legit contender for the job?
So to be like fully transparent, the two names I was always hearing before Michael Carrick took over was Gunnar Solskjaer and Michael Carrick. And I was 100% pulling for Ole. I was very blatant. I was very out about that. I talked to you about that. I talked to some of my other buddies. I thought someone that creative and shown that level. Middlesbrough is a top quality club, especially in the championship. But Ole's shown in a full season that he's been able to produce, right? So I was in the conversation, and Carrick took over, and I was nervous, and then I was reading some more about it, pretty much like, hey, we have to back our manager, right? We've done this with Ruben, we've done this with everybody, but I was very nervous going into the City game, but throughout the full weeks of training and the two games forward, I think he can really be a serious contender. I think he actually could come in. He's got the trust and the backing of the upper management, got the trust of the players. He's gained trust of certain players like Kobe Manu, who almost left in January due to Ruben not wanting to extend his contract. I like some of the initiative he's putting in. He's during his 15-month tenure, Ruben never attended a youth Manchester United game ever, and Michael
Really?
Carrick within a week, Michael Carrick was at the U21s. Right,
Wow.
so he's brought back a cohesive group, not only in the players but in the coaching staff, where it's not let's fire everybody, which was going to be how Ole was going to run. He wanted to bring in his own coaching staff, and Michael's been able
Mhm.
to do that, but also keep some good pieces. So if he short to end a long story, if he's able to continually bring in these type of results and this level of play, I think he's a very serious contender,
Hmm.
and I'd be happy with that as a United fan.
Well, yeah, you want to have you guys come back and
Yeah.
lead the ship, from that old guard. I
Mhm.
mean, they were the only. I mean, there's only a few people left who are still in football that were a part of that Sir Alex Ferguson era,
Yeah.
and not because obviously the club is going to move on with or
Oh, but
without Sir Alex Ferguson. All that we
yeah,
need to move on. It's not that era anymore. It's not that team anymore. But it does
it's
help
tough
because
to not
that
reminisce.
yeah, it's tough not to be like, hey, I mean, it was literally what not even five. It was like almost 10 years ago. What was that? 2013, 14 was his last year.
2013.
Yeah,
Yep.
2013. So
Yep.
really, we're a little bit over 12 years, 13 years now since the Ferguson era, and they just haven't been the same team. So it's hard not to reminisce and go back and bring people
Agree.
from that era to keep that going. It's not it's a tough it's I guess we could talk a little bit about that too. Is
Yeah.
what the hell happened to Manchester United? How long have you been a fan, and why are you a
Uh,
fan of Manchester United?
that's a great question. That's a great question.
Why have you done this to
Um,
yourself?
it's as simple as this. So in 2010, during the World Cup
They won
time,
everything when you were a
they
kid,
won
so they were always
everything.
on TV.
It-
Glory
Here's a
hunter.
fun story. Here's a fun story. So they were doing the on tour, which was their sponsor at the time, and they were doing an American tour just to kind of rile up some their fan base. And they were playing the Wizards at the time. It was the Kansas City Wizards, and
I remember that. Yes.
yep. And my dad took me to the game, and I was trying to get into soccer at that time. I just started playing myself, and I was like, "Shit, you know what? Dad, who are you rooting for?" I was like, "Kansas City. The Wizards are my team, right? I've grown up. You've grown up with them." I was like, "Oh, I got to go against my dad. Let's go Manchester United, right?" And seriously, that day I got to meet Sir Bobby Charlton and got his autograph and got a picture with him, which was awesome, right? That really like instilled my love for them. Was defiance against my father for no other reason other than just go against them.
Take that, Dad.
And that game ended up losing to the Wizards 2-1,
Yes.
which was just insane to watch. And to watch a team of just ragtag players beat up on Manchester United.
God. Was that like Davy Arnaud and
Davy
Kai
Arnaud, Kai
Kamara?
Kamara. Yep.
Oh my gosh, dude.
That was a
I think those are the
fun
guys who
team.
scored.
Yep. Davy and Kai. I think Kai scored the winner.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think it was something crazy, right? Wasn't it like a huge? Wasn't it like a long shot or something crazy like that?
I don't remember entirely, but
I don't remember either.
that
I wasn't at the
started
game,
it.
but I do
Did you
remember that game happening because a lot of people from Moberly went to go see that game as
really?
well. Yeah, because everyone like here's the thing. 2006 to like 2000 or let me take that back. 2004 to like 2013. If you were an
Yeah,
American kid, you were either a Chelsea fan or you were a Manchester United fan because
100%.
Chelsea won the Premier League in like what, 04, 06 or something, and then
Mm.
Man United won it like 20 times after that. So you were one of those two fans. But they were also
Yeah.
like the only people that were ever on TV.
Mm.
You know, we don't have all the crazy streaming that we have
You
now
wouldn't. Mm.
where you can go catch a great game like Brighton versus Bournemouth on a Saturday
Yeah.
morning. Like we didn't have that. We had
You had
game
the
of the
one game
week.
on NBC. Yep, that was it.
Yep. Which was
Mm.
like always whoever the hell Manchester United was playing, or it was like Liverpool Arsenal.
Agreed.
So if you were any other fan besides like Chelsea, I had a couple of Liverpool. My old high school coach was a Liverpool fan, but he's also in his 40s, so he watched them in the
Watched
80s
before.
and early
Yeah.
90s. So he was in love with them then. And we had a couple guys who were Arsenal fans, but most everybody was Chelsea or Manchester United, and most of them were Manchester United fans. And so it was really rare. I honestly, Premier League wise, I support Everton, but that's only because Tim Howard was on the TV.
Oh yeah.
But I don't ever, you know me, I'm more of a Bundesliga guy, and you can
Yep.
give me shit for being a Bayern Munich fan or whatever. But actually, funny enough, I supported them for the exact kind of the same reason for you. I became a Bayern Munich fan because I watched the 2012 Champions League, or was it 2011? 2011 Champions League between them and Chelsea.
Yep.
And they lost at their home field against Chelsea to PKs. Didier Drogba scores that header like last freaking second of the game to send them into overtime. So they lose. So I just started watching them after that, and then I wound up following them, and I was like, oh my gosh, these guys are like the best ever. How did they not win the Champions League? And then the next year they go on and win it. So I've just kept that going ever since and just followed them then. So, okay, you can give me the same joke that I was a glory hunter or whatever, because sooner or later, you know, Bayern Munich, like again, last year they didn't win the Bundesliga title. So, or 2 years ago, they didn't win the Bundesliga title. So, like, it does happen. It's just really rare. The Bundesliga isn't as competitive from top to bottom as the Premier League, right? Because there's not as much money and the fans actually own the teams. And it's a lot more grassroots than people give it credit for sure.
Great.
So, well, if you had to pick, so let's say in a perfect world, you couldn't have Ole and you couldn't have Michael Carrick as your manager.
Sure.
Who do you think? Who do you think would even want the job, and who do you think they would hire?
That's always the tough. That's the tough asterisk right there.
Anybody can be hired. Everybody's a free agent. You could pick anybody.
Yeah. I'd love in a perfect world a Ancelotti or even a Xabi Alonso. I think some of these guys with their due diligence, I think Xabi would fit in. If you mix it up with the group that we already have, right? I feel like he'd be a very manager in that type of situation. But you know how it is, as you have a very short window in Manchester. If not, you are thrown away, right? So there's such an extra bit of fame and glory, and also just negativity that comes with being a part of Manchester United. We've seen so many guys mentally they can't go through it, players and managers alike. And then they have the freedom. You could always talk about like a McTominay or Højlund who just absolutely tear it up in Serie A, or coaching wise have very, very lustrous careers afterwards, but they just can't do it at United. If you talk about right now, like a Xabi Alonso or Ancelotti, bringing in the type of style that I think could be beneficial. But I have always appreciated local grassroots players that understand what it's like to play for a badge. And that's why I really appreciate Michael Carrick.
Yeah. Did he come through the academy, or was he a guy they bought?
I believe he came through the academy. I believe he came through Carrington.
Didn't Fletcher also? Fletcher also came through the.
Yes. Now both of his boys are through the academy.
I knew that. There was one meme I saw. It was like Darren Fletcher's going to sub himself on, so there's an entire midfield of Fletcher. That would be pretty cool. I mean, I don't think that's ever been done before.
I mean, he got put in such an unwinnable position. I have no hate towards Darren Fletcher, but there was just, you could be as successful as you want, like Michael Carrick in his first term as interim, but with the depth that he lacked and the situation that he got put into, you're lucky enough to get a positive result. I got no.
With Arsenal losing that game, are they dead and Manchester United is back, or what?
I'd love to I like to take shin and bias out of everything that I do, especially in soccer. Right, I could say hey, this, and that about United, but I like to keep a very technical and tactical view over everything. I don't think Arsenal are dead per se, but I think they do have their struggles and their challenges. I saw a meme talking about Arsenal and their biggest negativity, right? Their biggest opponent is themselves.
Yeah.
They put themselves in poor situations where they could be 10 points clear 2 weeks ago, and they put themselves in these situations. Just kind of listening a little bit about post game and just my own thoughts. They never really looked to down the defending back line of Man United if they weren't able to play their type of game. There was never brought in Gyökeres. There was never balls over the top outside of the last minute and a half. They weren't trying to penetrate, right? If the soccer didn't come to them, they weren't able to press the issue. I think Mikel Arteta is very stuck in his own way, and that could be very beneficial when it's going really well. But if you're not able to flow with the situation in that game, I like to think about it. It's what soccer asks out of you, not what you out of soccer. No matter what's happening in the game, you have to be able to mold and change. And outside of set pieces, they're very stuck, and they're not very dynamic outside of their very, very class wingers. I think Gyökeres has been a very, very like for like transfer that we've had in the past with Rasmus Højlund, Xerxes, or even Šeško right now, where he's had a great season outside of a top flight, but coming into the bright lights of London is having a very rough time, where he's not able to blow by everybody with his athleticism and strength because Prem center backs are bigger, stronger, and faster, right? So I would not like to say yet that they're dead. I still have them winning the Prem in my own thoughts, but their biggest opponents themselves. They put themselves in these situations.
Yeah, I was looking at that Victor guy. He has 5 goals in 21 matches in the Premier League.
Yeah, and it's been since Jesus has been getting healthy. He's been coming off.
Yeah, I did see that as well. Like he had Jesus has been coming off, but he only has 1 goal. Trossard has 4 assists, 5 goals. Saka has 4 goals, 3 assists. Odegaard 3 assists, 1 goal. Zubamendi 3 goals, 1 assist.
Michael Moreno's been their best 9.
Yeah, Declan Rice 4 goals, 3 assists. So I mean, overall, but just looking at a couple of the results, the tie with the tie with Forest was weird.
Yeah,
they barely beat Chelsea in the FL Cup. A tie with Liverpool. I guess really their last 3 Premier League games have been draw, and a loss.
Yep.
So I feel like that's why everyone is kind of. I mean, they've gotten 2 points out of a possible 9. And now City, I mean, they're a whole other mess. I feel like Man City is just like it's gone. It's done for them. Their last, they lost to Manchester United, and they also lost to Bodo Glimt.
But I was reading something. So there's 374 away fans that traveled up to Norway for that game, and they refunded all 374 of those City fans. The captains put together. Yeah, it was Bernardo Silva and Haaland, all of them like, hey, here's a collection. I'm sorry we put out that type of result.
Yeah. So I guess last couple of things.
Yeah.
Give me your top 5 that finishes the Premier League. Right now, I'll tell you what the current table is, and I'll let you tell me how it's going to finish. 1, Arsenal. 2, Man City. 3, Aston Villa. 4, Man United. 5, Chelsea. And then I will tell you 6 and 7 are Liverpool and Fulham. How do you think the season's going to finish?
I don't think there's going to be as much movement as people actually think is going to happen. I know everybody talks about Arsenal bottling. It's just going to happen, right? It's a way of life. I think they're able to foresee it out. I think they also drop out of some competitions. I don't think they have a very deep run in Champions League compared to maybe a City, where that's their route for a trophy this year. I think they focus more on trying to win that first Prem trophy in almost 25 years at this point, right?
Do you think they would purposely tank the Champions League to win a Premier League?
I don't think they'd ever tank, but if I'm Mikel Arteta, for me personally, I think an EPL trophy is more important than a Champions League. So I'd put my stronger 11 going into some of the, like in April, one, right? Some of these very strong matchups they need to win and they need to get points. So when you're already clear for qualification going on in the next round of Champions League, right? You make some different substitutions, put out some different squads going into those games.
Mhm.
That would be the way I'd focus. I
Yeah.
think he's come too close too many times for this situation to happen again where he has no trophies.
Yeah.
So I'd go full in on the Prem. But saying that, I'd see Arsenal finishing it out. I think Villa's been in form. I like Emery a lot. I think Morgan Rogers has been a very sneaky Cam. He's been a great creator. Ollie Watkins, John McGinn to an injury. So I I'd love to say in a perfect world they finish second, but right now I go Arsenal, Man City, go Aston Villa, just because I'm a little biased.
Mhm.
Manchester United, I go Chelsea in fifth. Liverpool will drop off to seventh. I think Liverpool
Wow.
has a rough. I think Liverpool
Okay.
has a rough end of the season.
So you would just say you're not necessarily saying Fulham finishes sixth, but
No,
it just
I'm just
isn't going to
someone
be
other.
Liverpool.
Yes,
Well,
yes,
the only teams that I feel like right now could catch them, I mean, so Liverpool's at 36 points. The next closest is obviously Fulham at 34, Brentford
yeah.
on 33, Newcastle, Everton, and Sunderland all on 33. So Newcastle could very easily jump into
Agreed.
one of those spots. I think I'm gonna kind of mirror you a little bit, but because I'm a biased for the little guy, I'm gonna
Let's
say
hear it.
Arsenal 1. I'm gonna say Aston
Yeah,
Villa bumps up to 2. Man
love
City
it.
drops to 3. Chelsea goes to the number 4 spot.
Four.
Man United gets the 5, and then I'll say Liverpool keeps that 6th spot.
Fair enough.
So I guess
I
we'll
like I
we'll
said.
come back to this at the end of the year and see how
Oh yeah.
far off we were.
Like I said at the start of the podcast, if we could finish top five playing European football next year, I'll take it wholeheartedly.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll only spend about 2 minutes on this. Who do you think
Yeah.
gets relegated?
Yeesh.
Because right now,
Burnley, yeah.
Wolves are for sure going down. I feel like
Wolves
they're
are
at
yeah.
8 points
Okay.
right now, sitting at 20th, 8 points.
Yep.
You got Burnley at number 19 with 15 points. You got West Ham with 18 with 20 points. And then the next closest one is Forest
Forest.
with
Yep.
25 points. And then you got Leeds at 16 with 26 points. So you've got 6 point difference. A 5 point difference between 17 and 18. Now, granted, that's only 2 games, but
Oh, great.
to tell any of these teams that they're going to win 2 games, like way they've been playing this year, it's been very tough. I don't. If I'm gonna be if I'm a betting man, I say
Yeah.
that these 3 teams go down no matter what.
You think
I
so?
feel like I think it's gonna be Wolves, Burnley, and West Ham, but I think Leeds is gonna finish as that 17 spot.
You really? They've been in some good sneaky form, man. They
I
got some good
know.
depth. Brandon Aronson's been killing it. Ao Tanaka, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, old
Yeah.
Evertonian, had a great
Again,
year.
I say they stay up, but I don't know if they do much better than right above the drop.
I agree with you almost fully. I love Burnley. I enjoy watching Burnley play. I'm a sicko when it comes to Prem soccer. I'll rather watch a Burnley Wolves game than watching a Liverpool Chelsea sometimes, just because it's just the nitty gritty, right? But
Yeah.
I'd agree with you on the bottom too. I love watching Burnley play, but I just don't see them able to make those make a run. So I'd go Wolves. I'd go Burnley. And I don't think Mr. Deitch is able to keep Forest up. I think Forest drops down.
So they
I think
would
Forest
get
has
the
been
18
very,
spot.
yes. I'd with Nuno in charge of West Ham and Jared Bowen in the form that he is now. I'd take West Ham just sneaking by in that last spot.
Yeah. Well, just to give you a hint on that, West Ham's next 5 Premier League games at Chelsea, at Burnley, at home to
Yep.
Manchester United. They're at home to Burnley, and then they're at Liverpool. And then they have Fulham and then Man City. So
they do not have an easy road. They do not have an easy road.
They do not. And then Forest, if I'm looking at theirs right now, oh my gosh, Forest is still in the Europa League. Love that.
Yes.
Yes. Forest has Crystal Palace at home. They're at Leeds.
Who's been struggling.
They have Wolves at home. They have Liverpool at home. Then they have Brighton, Man City. So
those are. I can see 2 easy wins on both sides.
Yeah,
I would agree.
Forest has an easier road for sure.
I'll be interested because they've been in poor form this year. I think there's been a lot of, especially the Morgan Gibbs White situation with the owner. There's been a lot of the whole issue with Crystal Palace and them taking over their Europa spot. There's been a lot of outside issues, especially firing Santos. So I'll be interested to
Yeah.
see what happens. I think it'd
All
be
right.
awesome if Nuno's able to take West Ham and jump over the team that fired him. I think it'd be awesome.
Yeah. And they just beat Tottenham, so I
I
mean,
know
they've got the talent to beat. I mean,
they do.
Tottenham's just having a bad year. They still have a talented squad. Like they
They
really
do.
do. Like they have
And
a
they just brought
talented
in
squad.
Conor Gallagher.
Yeah,
They got
like it's so
and I
weird
love
how
Thomas Frank. I think he's a
yes,
great coach.
same. But I also think there's too many coaches that just jump at the money of these big
Agree.
teams when they already have a great. I mean, look how Brentford's doing. I mean, they're in the top 10 right now, performing really well, playing good soccer without their coach, and it's like you gave that up to potentially get fired within 6 months. I
I
mean,
think I think Bournemouth's a great example of that too. You lose Kirkez, Hoyson, Zabarni, Kepa, and Semenyo,
mhm,
and you go on to beat Liverpool 3-2. They've restacked. They've taken a look. Ariol is a great coach. I love him. I think he'd be an
yeah,
awesome pick. If you're looking at a Manchester United permanent, I think he'd be a great
mhm,
option too. But you don't always have to chase the money. So I'd agree with you on that because Bournemouth's been able to use the $228 million dollars that they've gotten from their sales, put forth good profit, and then be able to bring in quality. They lost
yeah,
Watara too. Watara just went to Brentford. They've been
yeah.
rolling through a lot.
We'll see how it finishes, man.
Yeah, yeah.
These
I'm excited.
teams, they're going to go all over the place, man. We'll see. We'll have to come back later on and see if our
Yeah,
picks were anywhere
even
near as
close.
close as they were. So,
Agreed.
but anyway, man, I'll let you enjoy your trip in Florida right
Appreciate it,
now.
brother.
You have fun being on vacation. I'm going to be super jealous. So, but I'll let you get out of here. I'll see you, dude.
Sounds good. See ya.
Yeah. This podcast is brought to you by LP Digital. LP Digital is a locally owned photography and videography business in Columbia, Missouri. It was started by University of Missouri journalism students Isaiah Lopez and Joseph Patton. Their mission is to bring local stories to life through stunning high-quality visuals that fit any budget. Because at LP Digital, everyone deserves to see themselves smile. Whether it's capturing life's biggest moments or telling your unique story, they're here to make it happen. Check them out on Instagram and Facebook at LP Digital 2026 and send them a message to find the perfect price for you.